How do they perceive their information? How do they receive their information? And how do I best get my message across to this person? All right, because your first 5 seconds gets you your next 5 minutes in a call. What's up, dogs? In this video, we're gonna go over a one-on-one call I had with a salesperson on my team where we're going through the sales system, 6 parts of my sales system. And the first step is the initial connection, and that's what we went over in this video. If you have not yet seen the video to the 6-part sales system, what are you doing? Go watch it right here. After you watch this video, of course. Not even thinking about you, right? Not even thinking about the money that you're going to make by having an organized pipeline. Thinking about all the sellers that you can help, right? All the sellers that are going through something, who have a problem, that are expecting us to come through and solve the problem. Imagine if we miss the call that we have with them because it's not scheduled and it's not organized and it's lost in the CRM, right? You're doing not only yourself a disservice, but you're doing your sellers a disservice as well. So let's make that priority at the end of each day. Before you get off the phone, let's make sure the pipeline is cleaned up. And yeah, so let's get into actual sales training. So you remember the 6 steps of the sales process that we went through?
Yeah, the one in our that we go in the VO in the morning.
Yep.
So
what's the first step of the sales process when we get on the call with the seller?
Making a friend, building connection.
Yep. So that initial connection, right? Mm-hmm. And we talk about this is the step where we want to make a friend. That's the main thing that matters, right? When we were listening to the call today, and I praised Isaiah for a minute 37 seconds into the call, he already had the seller laughing, right? Yeah. Like that's the definition of making a friend, right? Getting to understand somebody, not only just making a friend, right? We can also make a friend. I was talking about earlier today, subconsciously as well, right? So listening to their tone, listening to the seller's tone as soon as they answer the phone, how they answer the phone, right? So like if a seller answers the phone and they're like, hey, what's up? Talk to me, right? What's going on? Chances are that person's a red seller. You know that you need to communicate to them in a fast manner. You need to get the information to them in a fast way. Thus, you're building more rapport because you're communicating to them in a way that they enjoy to be communicated with, right? So making a friend goes beyond just getting the seller laughing and getting them to be buddy, right? It's also speaking to them in the correct way, understanding what is the personality type of this person I'm speaking to, how do they perceive their information, how do they receive their information, and how do I best get my message across to this person, right? So this first step, if you can get somebody to like you, you're going to be way more likely to do a deal with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, don't mistake it, because you can definitely do deals with people who you don't like, right? I've done deals with people who don't like me all the time, right? If the money's green, they'll make it happen. But it's a lot easier to do a deal with somebody who likes you and enjoys to talk to you, right? And they don't even feel like you're negotiating with them, because it just seems like a regular fun conversation, right? So make a friend. It's a lot better for us to have them on our side than have us constantly fighting against the seller. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so initial connection in the first step, we want to make a friend. 2 of the most important things to remember in this step and throughout the whole call in general, and shit through life in general, right, is tone and confidence. Tone, confidence, and conviction. TCC. Let's make that a new thing, right? Tone, confidence, conviction. Those are the three things that are most important in this initial connection phase, right? If you have the proper tone, you're convicted. You know that what we're offering, the solutions that we're providing, are actually helping sellers and solving their problems. When you have the proper tone, when you have the right tone, and you know that for a fact, the solution that we're providing to this person is actually solving their problem and helping them out, there's no way that you're not going to be able to get deals if this person is motivated to sell, right? If you can alter your tone to talk to them in a way to that they're having fun, they're enjoying this conversation, they don't feel like they're fighting you, they feel like they're collaborating with you, right? And you have the conviction and you know for a fact, right, that you're not going to let them just tell you no and convince you that this deal doesn't make sense for them if you know that it truly does, right? You know all these benefits and you know how we can really help this person. You're not going to let them tell you no one time, and you're not going to let that just alter you, right? Because sales is you're going to have to keep knocking on that door until you knock it down. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to take repetition. It's going to take you continuing to follow up regardless. So if you're convicted, you're going to continue to follow up because you know that you're really going to help this person. And then confidence, right? Confidence is everything. I was talking about this earlier today. They used to tell me this in football, right? If you're going to make a mistake, make it at 1,000% speed, right? Make it at full speed. You know why? Because if you don't go full speed and you make a mistake, do you know what's going to happen? You're going to get fucked up. You're going to get hurt, right? You come through tiptoeing and you know, pretending and just not sure about yourself, not confident about yourself, you're going to get hurt, right? And in business, right, if you walk around just not being confident, you know, having these conversations not confident, nobody's going to have confidence in you, right? You're not going to get hurt. It's not going to be as extreme, but your bank account's going to hurt, right? Because you're not going to be able to help nobody. They're not going to have the confidence in you if you don't have the confidence in yourself that you can actually help them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you having the right tone, you being confident, and you having conviction. We can save conviction, right? But you have in the introduction, right? You come in with that right tone and that right confidence. They're going to want to have another conversation with you, right? They're going to not even have another conversation. They're going to want to have more of a conversation with you, all right? Because your first 5 seconds gets you your next 5 minutes in a call. Right. So does that make sense so far on the initial connection?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. So when you have this conversation, when you first get this person on the phone, right, you want to have a great tone. You want to match their tone as well. You want to take notice of their tone, right? You want to be extremely confident. And then the next thing you want to do is disrupt their normal answer pattern, right? So so imagine you're a shoe salesperson, right? Have you ever worked in like retail at all?
Yeah.
So you worked at retail before. When a customer walks into the store, right? You walk up to them, you ask them, "Hey, is there anything I can help you with?" What's their normal response? What's their normal response pattern?
No, I'm good.
I'm good. I'm just looking, right? Even if they have a specific reason, like me, right? If I have a specific reason why I'm going into a store, and the salesperson asks me, "Hey, do you have anything I can help you with?" I'm gonna say, "No, I'm good. I'm just looking," right? Because it's my normal pattern. It's natural to me. I just say it, right? I don't even think about it. I just say it. And the same thing with these sellers. They talk to so many wholesalers, so many knuckleheads who have no clue what they're doing. They have a normal answer pattern at this point. Like when they sniff somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, they'll say, "Nah, I'm good. I'm not interested in selling." Right? Even if they told somebody just yesterday or just 10 minutes before, had a whole conversation with them of why they need to sell. Right? They may not tell you because they can sniff that you're not confident, you don't have the right tone, and you just allowed them to go with their this normal pattern of answering. Right? So how do we get them to disrupt their normal pattern? Is we ask them a question that maybe allows them to say no, right? Maybe we ask them, can they hear us? Right? That's a good one. Hey, Edith, it's Daryl. Can you hear me? And I'm like, yeah, I can hear you. What's going on? Right? That's disrupting my pattern, right? Or if I say, hey, I probably caught you at a bad time. No, you didn't catch me at a bad time. What's going on? Right? So I disrupted your normal answer pattern, and now you're more curious as to who I am and what the hell I'm calling for. Make sense?
Yeah.
You taking notes? Because you got to teach this to the team, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, bet.
I'm taking notes.
All right, dope. Your introduction to a call, first speaking with somebody, even if you spoke to them before. Well, actually, let's just talk about your introduction, right? First time you ever spoke with somebody. You want to acknowledge the seller. You want to introduce yourself. You want to explain why you're calling. Honestly, that should be on all your calls, right? Even if this person, this seller, you spoke to them before, I would still acknowledge them, tell them who you are, and tell them why you're calling on every single call, right?
Yeah.
Because they talk to so many people, right? So, hey, Edith, this is Daryl calling about this property on Main Street. So I acknowledged you. Hey, Edith, introduced myself as Daryl. Told you why I'm calling about this property on Main Street, right? And I get into everything else. Now, and you know this, right? We want to assume that the person that we're talking to is the person that answers the phone, right? So if it says on my CRM that Edith is the owner of this property and a woman answers the phone, I'm going to assume that the person I'm speaking to is Edith, right? And if a man answers, I'm going to assume that that man is Mr. Medina, right? So I have your first and last name. If it's a man, I'm going to assume that it's Mr. because what you don't want to do, especially like me, for instance, right? And then vice versa for you, right? So say you're calling a man and a woman picks up the phone, right? And you're like, hey, is Fred there? She's going to be like, what the hell are you calling my man for? Who is you? Right? But if you say, hey, Mrs. Fred, she's going to be like, oh, okay. She's not going to be, her guard is not going to be up. Right?
Yeah.
So we want to assume that the person that answers the phone is a person who his name is on our CRM. And if not, we're going to assume that that person that answers the phone is married or related to them in some type of way. And your tone, right? So we back to the tone. Your tone should be playful. Like starting off, your tone should be playful and like more fun until their tone shows you something else, right? So if you come in and your tone is like, you don't want to come in and be super low, like, hey, how you doing? This is Edith, right? Because they're going to be like that. But if you come in like, hey, Edith, what's going on? Hey, this is Edith, blah, 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 right? You're more high pitched. And if they come in and they're sad like that, it's a lot easier for you to come down than it is for you to come up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, dope. So the introduction is extremely simple, right? The initial connection, right? Again, we want to make a friend in this step, right? We want to have the TCC, tone, confidence, conviction, and we want to disrupt their normal answer pattern. And then our introduction checklist is acknowledge the seller, introduce yourself, and then tell them why you're calling. That make sense?
Yeah.
All right, bet. You have any questions about the first step of the sales system?
No.
Dope. So after that first step, after we have that initial connection, the next step is, and we'll talk about this tomorrow, but the next step is, do you remember?
Yeah, setting like the expectation of what to expect on the call.
Exactly. So the next step after the initial connection is setting the expectation to how the call goes, what's going to happen after the call, what's going to happen if we're not a good fit, what's going to happen if we are a good fit, how the call goes, all that good stuff, right? So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Yeah, let's crush it today, Edith. Let's get back on your groove and get you some deals locked up. If this brought value to you, if you found this valuable, join my Discord channel, because this is what we do every single day. We have conversations like this every single day. We go over calls. We do role playing. It's a lot of fun in there. You're missing out. Subscribe, hit that link, and join the Discord. I'll see you in there. Peace.
I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in a room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb.